What if the most meaningful stories aren't found at the end of some epic journey, but in the quiet places right up the road? There's something about heading east out of Charleston that settles the mind. It's not dramatic country, just honest miles through pines, marsh, and the quiet pockets of the Lowcountry that haven't changed much in decades. After finishing my last film, Why I Ride, I was thinking about that idea of leaning in, trusting the turn, trusting the moment, and today felt like the right day to keep following that thread. No big adventure, no epic destination, just a ride up to the little fishing town of McClellanville. I hit the button on the helmet mic, let the GS hum beneath me, and let my thoughts roll out naturally. That's the magic of this part of a ride. The way the world softens and you finally hear your own thoughts again. This wasn't about chasing anything, just following the road to see where the stories might hand me.
Beautiful day today for a ride. Currently about, looks like 60 degrees outside. Bright sunshine. Beautiful day. Bike is running perfectly. I think that this nice crisp air reminds the bike of Bavaria, and it runs extra good. But I've got a special treat today. I'm headed to McClellanville, beautiful little fishing village on the East Coast. Not too far of a ride. It's got a unique claim to fame, unique in not a good way, and we'll talk about that once we get there. But the bike is running excellent. Relatively short ride today. I think I've got just a little less than a half a tank of gas, so I'm definitely going to have to stop at some point relatively soon.
McClellanville doesn't announce itself. It just appears, slow, understated, almost shy, like it's waiting to see if you're paying attention. I made my way to the docks first. That's the heartbeat of the town, where the water shapes everything, and the people who depend on it carry a kind of resilience you don't see much anymore. That's where I met Bob and Josh. I had pulled my bike up and was getting ready to walk around and shoot some photos around the shrimp boats when I noticed that Josh had pulled up in his van, and shortly thereafter Bob showed up in his worn pickup truck towing his boat, and they began transferring the harvest of clams. Bushel after bushel, Bob lifted up the baskets and handed them to Josh, who put them inside his van. I recognized right away what was happening, this time-honored transfer of these freshly harvested clams being sent to market. They worked with precision. They worked as if they had done this many, many times. Recognizing what was going on, I grabbed my camera, walked over next to me, and asked if they minded if I took a few pictures. They both agreed, and I started snapping away. They worked with precision, and with pride, Bob showed me his harvest. I asked if there are many clams out there, and he replied, as many as you could ever want. They transferred probably 10 bushels of clams, and then I had a chance to talk to Bob a little bit. He's a proud Vietnam veteran that settled into McClellanville after his tours of duty. We talked about Hurricane Hugo. We talked about how it almost leveled and wiped the town of McClellanville off the map. McClellanville was ground zero for Hurricane Hugo and did massive damage to the town and almost erased it off the map. These guys, they're the reason places like McClellanville keep going. No pretense, no theatrics, just honest work. Their day isn't glamorous. It's mud, sweat, tide charts, gear that breaks down at the worst possible moment, and weather that doesn't care about your plans. But standing there with them, you feel the pride, the toughness, the simplicity of earning a living from the water.
Hey!
From the docks, I headed toward T.W. Graham's, a small restaurant that feels like a living scrapbook of the town. I filmed the exterior first, the weathered sign, the old windows, and stepped inside. Here's where I'll drop in some footage. Wooden tables, the chalkboard specials, the menu in my hand, and the sound of the kitchens. Stopping in for lunch at T.W. Graham Seafood Company here in McClellanville. I've eaten here one time before and really had a great meal. McClellanville is really quite a unique little town located right off the coast. And here's the specials of the day. Looks like a lot of good appetizers, seafood, clam strips, etc. Entrees, oysters and scallops, clam strips and shrimp, grouper. Looks like a lot of different stuff. I think I might end up going for those clam strips. I love those and haven't had those in quite a while.
Do you have any questions? Do you know what you want?
I saw out there you had like clam strips and
I've got all kinds of stuff. So I do have fried clam strips. I've got some mahi. I've got fried oysters, sea scallops.
okay. Could you do any kind of combination of those?
If I got it, I can make it happen.
How about clam strips and fried oysters?
Not a problem.
That sounds great. I haven't had clam strips in forever.
So good. All right, so that'll come with a couple of hush puppies and then whatever two sides you would like.
Okay.
They're on the back of the
Okay.
menu.
Coleslaw for sure if you have it. And do you have fried okra?
I do.
Okay.
Well, there we go. There is one.
Make it easy.
No problem. All
Great.
right.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Okay, food was just delivered, and I ended up getting the clam strips along with fried oysters, fried okra, and coleslaw. So that sounded really good, and all fresh from the local area. So let's test this out and see what it tastes like. I ordered lunch. Simple, fresh, exactly what a place like this should serve. Start off with the fried okra. Oysters are very good. Nice sized, lightly breaded.
She got you all squared away over there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Need anything?
No, I got it right here. I got clam strips and oysters and
Okay.
ready to
Enjoy
go.
yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And for a moment, sitting there, it felt like McClellanville itself was slowing down to match my pace. Slaw is good too. It's vinegar based, which you don't see very often. Most of the time it's mayonnaise. Try some of these clam strips. They're huge. They're really big. Very good. Well, I'm going to dig into this and I'll be back with you shortly. Give you an impression of the front of it here. And I ended up getting the fried clam strips and the fried oysters along with fried okra. So I had my share of fried food for the month, I think, but it was really good, really fresh. Oysters were really fresh and really plump, and breading wasn't too thick on them and really cooked very well. So really enjoyed that. Great stop in beautiful McClellanville. And the town is just overrun with all these trees and the Spanish moss and everything. Really quite a quaint little town, and highly recommend it. After lunch, it was time to send up Nomad, my drone. Nomad gives you a view that no amount of riding can. That sweep of the marsh, the cluster of shrimp boats, the way the town holds onto the coastline like it's guarding something precious. From above, you see how fragile and resilient it all is at the same time. Eventually, the shadows started getting longer, and it was time to point the GS west again. I fired up the helmet audio and found myself thinking about Bob and Josh, about T.W. Graham's, about the quiet pride in a town that doesn't try to be anything except what it already is. It gives you space to process that. It turns simple moments into something that sticks with you long after the ride is over. As the miles rolled by, I thought again about that idea of leaning in, not fighting the turn, not muscling the bike, just trusting the process on the road and in life. And maybe that's what today was really about. Not adventure for the sake of adventure, but clarity, perspective. A reminder that meaningful stories aren't always thousands of miles away. Sometimes they're right here, tucked inside a quiet fishing town, one tank of gas from home. The world's still full of honest stories, good people doing quiet work, places that deserve to be seen. And for me, that's reason enough to keep riding.